You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
So for people listening that maybe don't know anything about the mine worker strike, because you don't ever hear about it, even though coal miners are deified in the conservative imagination, the coal industry is like the backbone of America, but here we've got 1,100 coal miners. And this is 1,100 coal miners that voted overwhelmingly to stay on strike. This is not like you've got 1,100 coal miners who are being told by union bosses to go on strike and they don't want to. They want to go and work and make a living for themselves and work hard and kiss their boss's boots. Their bosses offered them a contract that was voted down 1,000 to 50.
That's huge. 50
people in that 1,100 person bargaining unit said, I want to work under this contract. More than 1,000 said, screw this. There are videos of people outside of all of the local halls burning the contract in a barrel. That's how bad it is. That's how fed up with their contract that these people are. And so, this was a decision that was made collectively and democratically by the workforce, by a workforce that has been exploited by the coal mining bosses. There's a really good quote, and let me see if I can find it because there's a lot of talk about, I think this is true, that labor creates all wealth, so all wealth should go to labor. But but with coal miners, it's like it's more apparent than anything else that the people that are actually doing the work are not making they're not making their fair share. This is a quote from Big Bill Haywood. He was a founder of the Industrial Workers of the World. He was a huge labor leader, very influential in the 20th century. You should do some Googling on him if your capitalist propaganda history classes did not teach you about Big Bill Haywood. He said, the mine owners did not find the gold. They did not mine the gold. They did not mill the gold. But by some weird alchemy, all the gold belonged to them. We can easily say that today in Alabama, the mine owners did not find the coal. They did not mine the coal. They did not mill the coal, but by some weird alchemy, by the virtue of their already existing wealth, they own the coal. And the coal miners who actually do the work have been forced to work. They took a $6 to $8 an hour pay cut in their last contract to save the company from bankruptcy. The company went bankrupt and it was bought out. They've got the same CEO who did not take a pay cut, who still has and has always had a multi-million-dollar salary. He did not take a pay cut, but the working coal miners here in Alabama, 1,100 of them, took a $6 to $8 an hour pay cut. They took provisions in their contract that said, you can make me work 7 days a week if you desire, without double time like we had in our last contract. We will forego our lunch breaks. We will forego our health. We will take huge cuts to our retirement pensions, to our health care contracts, and then it worked. 6 years later, 6 years after the bankruptcy of 2015, the company is profitable. The company in the past 5 years has had 2 years of record-breaking production. The coal mine owner has had a 10 to 15% annual compensation increase. And now they want to say to the coal miners, first they wanted to say, I want you to take more concessions. I want you to take more pay cuts, more cuts to your health care, more cuts to your benefits and your working conditions. And the coal miners said no. So the owners came back and said, okay, we'll give you $1 back of what you lost over 4 years. Over 4 years. We'll give you $1 over 4 years. That doesn't even keep up with inflation. And that's what these coal miners are being asked to put up with. And so if you care about coal miners, if you care about working Alabamians, especially as a media figure or as a politician, it is your duty to support these striking coal miners. If you have ever talked about how Biden and Hillary Clinton want to destroy working coal miners' jobs and how they don't care about coal miners, how they don't care about their families and their communities and what they make and being able to put their kids through college, being able to support themselves, lift themselves up by their bootstraps. If you've ever uttered any words like that on this radio station or anywhere else, or you've said that in conversation, it is your duty. You have to. You absolutely have to, in order to be consistent, support these coal miners and tell the boss to shove it, to give these people what they deserve, give them parity with other coal miners in the state, give them back what they lost to save the company in 2015. And the best way to do that right now is to support this fundraiser that we're going to be doing next week. That's the best way to do that right now. And well, as a listener, that's the best way to do that. If you're a media person or if you're a politician, then you can rally support around them. You could use your platforms to support actual working people in this state. You could, if you're a politician, the legislative session is not over yet. You could pass laws. You could pass policy that penalize coal mine owners for poor compensation for their workers. You could actually do something. If you're a media figure, you could do something. If you're a listener, the best way to support is to go to this fundraiser or donate to it to make sure that they have sufficient resources to stay out on strike, so that they will be able to hold the line and continue to hit this company where it hurts, so that they're forced to compensate them fairly. That's the best thing that you can do.
And that's all they're asking for is just dignity. Just to make up what they have already lost over these years. That's not much. And I just learned about the CEO keeping his job. I just learned that this week, and that's just so amazing. But classic manager to fail upwards. Rare do you meet a manager who hasn't failed upwards in their career. It always seems to turn out that way.
Yeah, and it's amazing that after running a company into the ground, he doesn't have to take a pay cut, and he doesn't have to give up his position at the head of the company. Which I just learned that either this week or the week before, that he kept his job as CEO under a different company.
That's amazing.
It's insane. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. So, make sure that you're following us on Twitter, on YouTube, so that you can see the stream, so that you can donate and things like that, because this is really important. These people are fighting for their lives, for their families, for their communities, and I think they deserve our support. We will be right back. We have one more segment. We're going to be talking about the unemployment situation here in Alabama. So stay tuned. This is the Valley Labor Report.
You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. David is on Twitter at Radical Unionist. That's spelled RADICL Unionist. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments and release them throughout the week. We upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. We've got a website where you can buy our hats and stickers, thevalleylaborreport.org. And if you appreciate our work and want to keep us on the air, consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.